Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you, Alicia. So like Alicia said, as we're getting the presentation up, please type any questions or in the chat that will be monitored throughout. I'm going to request, in the interest of spoiler alerts, because there may be some people that are recording the Nations League game right now and don't want to know what's happening, keep the score quiet from now on, just in case. We have that. So appreciate the enthusiasm, but again, no spoiler alerts, right? So this presentation, we are talking about teamwork and AR involvement. And some of the reasons behind this was, as Carrie was talking about some of the national officials, there's been some confusion. So myself and Frank, who both have affiliations with a lot of different groups, are giving this presentation to talk a little bit about what is going to be the U.S. Soccer way. How do we want going forward to communicate information with the from the assistant referee to the referee? So to start this, one of the first things that is then a natural question on the next slide is when we look into this whole presentation, and next slide, please, is we start off by thinking about this in terms of what is teamwork. And I know what the initial reaction is going to be. It's okay, it's working as a team. You may want to put I'd appreciate if you put some ideas in the Q&A about what teamwork means to you. But what we are going to do is we have a formal definition of this that we are going to show. And Frank, you got this from where again?
Webster's.
Webster's, all right. So this is the official Webster's Dictionary definition of what teamwork is. Work done by a group acting together, so each member does a part that contributes to the efficiency of the whole. We have other examples up here of different things that people think of when they think of teamwork. So that's the motivation behind this. And then the next question on the next slide is, what are some of the key characteristics needed for outstanding teamwork? And again, I'm going to ask you guys to put some ideas in the Q&A regarding what are some of the things you think are important to having outstanding teamwork. What are some of the skills we need? I see eye contact in there. Trust, that's a great one. Mutual trust and respect, open communication, good pregame in this, listening, communication, lots and lots of communication, patience. I'm loving it. I appreciate a lot of these ideas. Let's look at some of the other ideas we've had that we put on this slide. We talked about communication, which keeps popping up, which is great. Active listening, responsibility, honesty, that came up too. We need to work as a team and be honest with one another. Decision-making, collaboration, awareness, all of these are key skills for teamwork. So in this presentation on the next slide, we have a few objectives. Specifically, we want to improve AR's understandings of when to assist, recognize when we are expected to assist, and then also define what the best practices are, how we want our assistant referees to be assisting during these presentations. So the next slide, we always want to start everything with the laws of the game. So if we go straight directly to the laws of the game, what do they say regarding assistant referee involvement? When should the assistant referee get involved? And just straight out of the laws of the game, it says they should assist the referee with offenses when, first, they have a clearer view than the referee, or when it is outside the view of the referee. So let's think for a few seconds about why. Why do we want assistant referees to assist when they have a clearer view of the referee? So a clearer view than the referee. So there's two reasons in my opinion, and Frank, if you've got some others, please add them. One reason is if you have an experienced AR and something happens right in front of you, or right in front of them, and they stare back at you, that makes you doubt what you saw as a referee a little bit. This could create doubt for the referee. The other reason I see is that it could invite dissent from the players. So if it happens right in front of the assistant referee, right in front of them, and they don't put up their flag and the referee calls it, what's the player's reaction going to be? Oh, well, they were standing right there and they didn't call anything. Frank, what are your thoughts? Any other ideas in terms of why this is important?
Well, and it shows teamwork between the group and a cohesion. Players are always trying to drive a wedge between referee and assistant referee, and so if there's a collaboration on fouls, it looks or coordination on fouls, it really helps the team succeed. And so, as Amanda was saying, if they ignore something or they don't see something, that's when the assistant referee has to step in and help out.
Good. And then the other reason we want is outside the referee's vision. So something happens behind the referee's back, we need the assistant referee to assist because obviously the referee didn't see it. We don't have eyes in the back of our heads. And then we have our other priorities of the assistant referee. One of the things I want to emphasize on this is that make sure and always remember when you are an assistant referee, you are assisting, you are not insisting. So it may be a match critical decision, a penalty area decision, a red card, whatever else. At the end of the day, the referee makes the final decisions. You want to give them that information, but at the end of the day, the referee is going, if the referee disagrees and says no PK, no red card, then that's what it's going to be. The one exception is going to be if there's a misapplication of the laws of the game. In those situations, as an assistant referee, you're really going to need to stand your ground firmly and make sure the referee doesn't allow for these types of situations, because that's when we get into a lot of problems as match officials, is when we have these misapplications of the laws. Those are the toughest ones to get past. And then on the next slide.
And I was just going to add, and those are really like protestable decisions. Players remain on the field with a second yellow card, we don't send them off. Teams can protest that, and that's a big headache if games have to be replayed. So this is the moment when assistant referees really need to assert themselves if there's a misapplication of the laws.
Perfect. Thank you, Frank. And now there are these 4 considerations with regards to involvement. So we're going to be talking about the who, when, where, what, why. So Frank, go ahead with the first one.
So Amanda likes to talk about the why. And so we were looking at considering when do assistant referees want to get involved, and that sort of sequence. This is a task sequence that you're going to be going through. And so it's ordered in a very specific way. And we want to start out with the incident itself first. Is it a foul? Is it not a foul? And how clear is the offense to the assistant referee? And so as you go through these first few clips, we're going to be looking at just the offense itself. And is it a foul or not? And that's what you have to decide. And it has to be clear to the assistant referee. I'm going to talk about a mix of considerations. And that's really what I'm saying is there are going to be some considerations that say it's a foul, and there's going to be some considerations that say it's no foul. The more considerations you have for a foul, the more obvious it becomes to the assistant referee. And that's really when we want them to get involved. So as we look at these first few clips, decide for yourself, and you should do it really quickly, one look, and decide, is it an offense or not? And there's a lot to analyze in these videos, but just tell yourself, is it an offense or not? And we'll see some good mechanics and all that stuff, but just look at the incident itself and evaluate the decision. Evaluate, is it foul or no foul? And Alicia, put up the poll, please.
And I want to emphasize something Frank said, clear offense. So if you show this to the majority of people with football understanding that are soccer fans, they will agree. Clearly foul.
Excellent. So yes, 70%. So the offense is tripping, and it's very clear. Ball's out in front. Black player is running onto the ball, and there's a little tangle of feet at the back, and so the offense should be clear to everyone. There's no reason for a player to simulate or embellish the contact. Clear tripping foul. This is a clear offense for everybody to see. Let's see it on the next one. Again, just evaluate the offense. Just evaluate the incident. We'll play it a second time in case you weren't looking. Excellent. Alicia, put the poll up, please. And Matt, you can just maybe let it roll in the... There we go. Yep, that's more like it. Excellent. Yes, clear tripping by the goalkeeper. Ball's out in front. No opportunity, no debatable challenge of whether he got the ball or not. The attacker just touches it past him. Goalkeeper's momentum carries into him. clear foul. So clear offense. And that's the operative word, clear offense. Let's try the third video. We're going to have a challenge with the goalkeeper. And you have to decide whether it's clear offense or not. Two looks should be enough, maybe a third. All right, you're being generous, Matt. Give him a third look. Alicia, please. Yep, thank you.
And just while we're waiting, I know that sometimes the videos can be choppy when you're watching it and everything. So unfortunately, that is what happens with Zoom videos. But please just keep participating. There will be opportunities through your states, I'm sure, to see these videos later on.
Almost 60% say this is not clear. And then we want to talk about why this is not clear. So there's a heavy touch by the attacker. The ball gets out in front of him. Here we go. Yep. Heavy touch by the attacker. The ball gets out in front of him. And at the moment, can you pause it, Matt? Can you try to pause it at the moment? At the moment that the goalkeeper dives and the attacker is stretching for the ball, there is some debate about whether the goalkeeper gets a hand on it or whether the attacker touches him past. So this is not clear. This would not be clear, a clear offense, because there are a mix of considerations. Does the goalkeeper play it fairly with his hand? Right. Perfect, Matt. That's excellent. So just as the attacker is touching it, the goalkeeper is stretching. Any touch by the goalkeeper would negate the foul. However, if the attacker, say the goalkeeper was late, and the attacker clearly touched it past the goalkeeper, that's less debatable. But here, because we have a challenge by the goalkeeper at the moment that the ball is being touched by the attacker, this offense is not clear, especially for the assistant referee. Amanda, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add. That was a perfect description, Frank.
So we're always trying to say, is the offense clear? And it really should just sort of like jump off the screen to you. You'd be like, oh, wow, foul. We do it from our couches all the time when we're watching games. And other times when there's something debatable, you're like, I want to see a replay. Maybe not. If you have that instinct of like, oh, I didn't see it quite clearly, then it's not clear when you're on the field. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, let's go to the fourth video. So if it jumps off the page, if it jumps off the screen to you, it's clear. If it doesn't jump off the screen, it's not so clear. So ask yourself, is this an offense or not? And is it clear? Because yes, players end up on the ground, attackers end up on the ground, holding their body parts, appealing for a foul, but it has to be clear if we're going to get involved. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, now we're getting the hang of it. Yes. So Matt, can you go through and let's look at it a little bit? Just the attacker is a little bit late to the ball. And he stretches his right leg out. And so he's initiating the contact. He's sticking his right leg in front of the defender. And this contact is debatable whether it's a foul or not. There's no action by the defender, and the attacker is initiating the contact. He's sticking his leg out in front, creating the contact, and then falling down under, and it's even really minimal contact at all, if any at all. So this offense is not clear, especially to the assistant referee. So as we go through these, so this is sort of a task sequence. We're going from one, where each time we look at a video, start with, is it an offense? Is it clear? And then we'll progress from there. Over to you, Amanda.
And Frank and Amanda, if on the examples you just showed, if you say not clear, you don't care about step 2, step 3, or step 4. Just stop, look at the referee, give them
it's not an offense.
Smile or the confidence, and keep going, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So then we proceed then to step 2. So step 1, is there a clear offense? Like Brian just said, if the answer is no, then you just stop. You do not cross go. You do not, go past go. You do not collect $200. You just stop. But if you have an offense, now we're going to move on to step 2. And step 2 is we need to assess the referee's proximity and angle. What does the referee see? So if we look at the first clip on the next one. So in this situation here, what do we see about the referee's proximity and angle? So let's play it again from the beginning. And Matt, if you can pause it at that moment. Is the referee close? Yes, the referee is close. Let's go to the poll. What do we think about the referee's angle? Does the referee have good proximity and angle to make this decision without any assistance? Does this referee have good proximity and angle to make this decision? All right, great. So 89% of officials, of respondents said this is a good proximity and angle. Those that said no, maybe we're thinking about the player that's maybe blocking his view, but that's when this happens, the referee is very proximate. They do have a pretty good angle to see this. That player in a better angle is not really blocking their view. So this referee is close, he is proximate. This is going to decrease the likelihood we're going to want AR involvement. If we look at the next slide, the next video, sorry. So this one, we can't exactly see the referee at the exact moment it happens. But if we look at where she is, how she's moving, we're going to take a guess based on the video of about where she is. So think about, given where she was, where do you think she was when this play started? You can kind of see her there as well. So I know you can't see her, we can't pause it like the last video, but based on the information you have, does it seem like the referee has a good angle, good proximity and good angle to make this decision? All right, so the majority are saying yes, a slight majority are saying yes. Matt, can we go to the beginning of the clip? So if we look at when this developed, so first of all, I think we all agree that the referee is in good proximity. The play is happening right near the touchline, and she's close. She's near the edge of the penalty area. So she is relatively close to this decision. She's proximate. If we think about now, what is the offense? So if we can pause it when the offense happens, it's that tug on the arm, right? It's that tug on the arm that causes this player to fall down. We don't know exactly where she is, I understand, but given where she was, where she is when we see her, where she was when we last saw her, where she is when we next see her, it seems like she's in that area at the top. And if we think about this, is we have those two players facing each other like this, it does appear that she is looking in between those two players. Again, we can't see it, but it is a reasonable guess that she can see between those players. So in this situation, the referee does have good proximity and a good angle, we believe, it appears, to see and make this decision. So this one, it would be a situation where, again, we're assessing the referee's proximity. Remember what she's seeing. She's seeing between those two players. So she is in a position to decide if there is a holding offense or not, given her angle. And she is close to make that decision as well. Anything to add on that, Frank?
No. I mean, it'll segue into the next task sequence. Yes.
Then go to the next part of the task sequence.
So Amanda was talking about being able to see between the players. And so when you're evaluating offenses, you really want to have the angle to see between the players. And so 90%, 95% of the decisions referees can make. They have the angle of view, they have proximity, they can see between the players. As that play moves closer to the assistant referee, they now may have proximity and a better angle of view to see between the players. And we do this, we go from evaluating offenses to quickly evaluating the referee's position to evaluating an assistant referee's position. We do this all very quickly. And so you're all very practiced at it. It's just remembering to go through that sequence. Evaluate the offense, quickly take a peek, evaluate the referee's proximity and angle of view. Do they have a good look at it? Okay, I can stand down. Now, if you see that they're a little bit out of position or their view is obscured, and you have a good angle of view and good proximity, now, and you have it clear offense, now I want to get involved. So as you go through this, now we get to the assistant referee's role and responsibility. If they have proximity and they have a good angle of view and it's a clear offense to them, please, this is when we want you to get involved. And I hope these videos will illustrate that. So let's look at a few. Play it one more time, please. This one should just, well, we'll see. Excellent. Alicia, can you launch the poll, please? And now we're evaluating the AR's proximity and angle of view. And again, remember, you're asking yourself, is it a clear offense? And then you're going to evaluate the referee's position and proximity. And then now we want to get to the AR's proximity and angle of view. So it builds each time we go through these. All these videos sort of build on themselves. Yes, excellent. Yes.
Brian, they haven't had Essie's handball presentation, and we still got this one. That's great.
It's amazing. Congratulations, everyone.
Excellent. So Matt, can you go back just to the oh yeah. Right, perfect. There we go. So we have clear offense, arm well off the body, ball hitting the arm, unnatural, unjustifiable position, inside the penalty area. And if you look at, and then we're going to go and look at the referee's position and proximity, they're a little bit far, and they're actually looking through the back of the defender at this moment. So their view might be obscured or partially obstructed. And the assistant referee has the best angle. He's looking, he can see between the players, he can see the arm clearly extended, and he can see the ball hitting not anywhere, near the chest. It's all the way out at the fingertips. So the offense for the assistant referee is clear. They have the best angle of view, and they're proximate to the decision. So yes, you guys got it. That's perfect. They have the best angle of view, and they can get, this is a decision we would expect them. And let me just add, we didn't see a flag go up here because there is a radio communication. So a lot of this is geared towards, if you don't have the communication system, this is where we want assistant referees to get involved when the offense is clear and they have good proximity and angle of view. And we would expect a flag from the assistant referee. Excellent, Matt. Let's jump to the next clip, please. Go through, Matt, and play one of the replays. Well, actually, you can pause it. You can launch the poll, Alicia. And we're evaluating the assistant referee's angle and proximity to this incident. Okay, yes. So here we have an incident inside the penalty area, and if we go back just to the moment, this angle of view, this camera angle gives you a rough approximation of what what the referee is looking at. He's looking through these two players, and it might be difficult or it might be challenging for him to evaluate whether there was a poke on the ball, a touch on the ball, which would mean a fair challenge, or if the attacker touched it forward and then there was a tripping offense. And the assistant referee is looking across and can see between the players. And if we play the video just slowly, there's a slight hesitation between when the offense occurs and when the referee whistles. And you'll see he looks over at his assistant referee right there. There's a hesitation, there's communication going on, and then the whistle comes. So the assistant referee has the angle of view and can evaluate this incident. Even though the assistant referee appears to have proximity, their angle is poor. But the referee has the angle of view between the players and can assist here for a clear thing.
You flipped that one. The referee does not have the view between players. The assistant referee has it. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, the referee does not have the angle of view between the players, and the assistant referee does. Yes. Excuse me. And then let's go to the.
You said they should assist, so you meant the assistant referee.
Yes. Let's go to the third one. So as we've looked at the last two. Let's evaluate again. We're evaluate the offense, evaluate the referee's proximity and angle, and then the big one. What we're really trying to drive home on this clip is the assistant referee's angle of view and their proximity to the incident. So 2 or 3 times was enough. Launch the poll, please. Thank you, Amanda. I get kind of rolling sometimes and interchange referee, assistant referee. Yeah.
Y'all do it.
I know.
Our team, right? Assisting.
That's right. Yeah, jumping in when I'm clearly wrong. Excellent. So yes, so as we go back and we play this forward, we're going to see attacker clearly touching the ball forward, and then the goalkeeper coming out, clear trip. So the offense just jumps off the screen, and the referee is at distance and has a poor angle. And this incident is coming right at the assistant referee. So they can see between the player, clear contact, no play on the ball. Everybody expects penalty. So we would expect assistant referees to get involved here. Excellent.
All right, and then we move on to step 4. So first part, is there a clear offense? We have to have a clear offense first. Then we're going to assess the referee's proximity and angle. We're going to think about what's the assistant referee's proximity angle. But then the last piece is what are the assistant referee's priorities? So we all know this. What are the priorities of the assistant referee? Number 1 is the offside decision. The offside line is making that decision. But if there is not an immediate offside decision to make, if there's not an eminent offside decision, now we're going to move our attention elsewhere. We're going to move it to the ball to judge in or out of bounds decisions and to assist with foul decisions. So that's what we're going to be thinking about in these clips, and we're going to be looking at. Does the assistant referee have an immediate offside decision, an eminent offside decision, or should they shift their attention to the ball? So let's look at the next. Let's look at the first clip. And think about this. Where should the assistant referee be looking? Is there an eminent offside decision? All right, so let's bring it back. Yeah, thank you, Matt.
And a lot of this comes down to reading the body language of the players. We have to pick up on those cues that they give us. Is their head up? Are they looking to play it into space? Is their head down and they're dribbling? Are they facing the opponent's goal, or are they facing backwards? Ask yourself those questions, and that will help you evaluate, does the assistant referee have an offside decision or some other priority?
All right, so let's, Frank's giving you some hints. Let's run the poll, see how we're doing. Where should, go to the poll? Is there an imminent offside decision for the assistant referee? All right, and the majority, 72%, say no. So like Frank said, let's break this down a little bit. Let's look at what's happening in this play and see how we got to know. So we have the black team, they're passing the ball backwards, kicking the ball forwards, kicking the ball backwards. And right here, this defender plays the ball. Where is he playing the ball? He's playing the ball backwards. If he's playing the ball backwards, can anyone be offside? No, they're all behind the ball. The player he's playing it to is behind the ball. So in this situation, the assistant referee can read the game just like a referee. Assistant referees have to be able to read the game too. If we look at the players nearby, no one's making that hard run like they're looking for that pass through. Nobody's pushing that offside line in terms of there being a close decision. And we've got the player with the ball facing the other way. We should be checking as assistant referees what's going on the ball. Is there an imminent offside decision? So good. There is no imminent offside decision here. So when we think about our progression, first of all, is it a clear offense? Yes. Clear tripping offense. Is the referee in proximate and have a good angle? He's not in this, so he's not really close. So I don't know what his angle is, but we're okay. There we go. There we see him coming in. So a little far away in terms of this. Where's the assistant referee? In line with the second to last defender, very proximate, very close, good angle of view, and has good and should be focused on the ball to make this decision. So this is the progression we want to be going through when we're thinking about this in terms of teamwork. And Matt, if you want to skip it, in the interest of time, let's skip the next one and go to the third clip here. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so again, all we're thinking about initially is there an imminent offside decision? Does this assistant referee have an offside decision to make now? Or should they be focused on the ball? Let's run the poll. Great, 93%, no imminent offside decision. Fantastic. So again, remember our progression. Is there a clear offense? Yes, we have this clear sliding, tripping offense. Is the referee proximate and have a good angle? Again, don't see the referee in this, so I'm going to go with no on that. Does the assistant referee have a good angle and are they proximate to play? Yes, very much so. And is there an immediate offside decision to make? No, this player has his back, again, to the touchline. That means the ball's going backwards. There is no offside decision to make. So we should be looking at the ball in this situation. So this assistant referee, so this is the progression in terms of the steps. So we've walked through these different steps, and now the question is going to be, okay, so we've gone through your progression, Amanda and Frank. What do we do next? So Frank, what do we do next? How do we decide how to help with this information?
So again, we're building on these four considerations for when to get involved. And now let's talk about where on the field we expect assistant referees to get involved. So as we're going to look at areas of involvement, and we've got a little bit, we call this a heat map. And so the assistant referee is there on the right-hand side, and that green zone is the area where they have the highest credibility. That's primary area of control, and we expect them to get involved in this area. Now, there may be a case where they are down by the corner flag and the offense occurs near midfield and the referee is close to that area. Even though that's in the green zone, they're going to be really far from that play. So don't take this as a hard, fast rule. This moves around. It's fluid. And as the ball moves into this zone or closer to the assistant referee in that green zone, that's going to be their high credibility and their primary area. And this is where they're going to have the best proximity and best angle of view and most likely to support the referee. Then we have the yellow zone, and that does go into the penalty area, and it does go into the middle of the field. And this would be for, if a referee is at distance, and we know it happens, they get caught on a counterattack, goalkeeper hits it 60 yards, and they're chasing play, and the assistant referee's area is going to expand a little bit. And so they will have moderate credibility based on their angle of view and how clear the offense is. And in those cases where we have violent conduct or match critical incidents, they still will need to get involved. And then we have that red zone, and that's on the other side of the field, down in that coffin corner where they can't really help, and they have low to no credibility. However, we would expect, if there were violent conduct, for them to get involved, because these are incidents that can't be missed, or if there was a misapplication of the laws, we would expect the assistant referee to get involved. And the red zone is very, very, very rare cases are we going to see involvement from the assistant referee, only in cases of violent conduct. So let's see some of this.
And just to emphasize something Frank said, notice these are not hard and fast lines. Notice these are blurry, because like Frank said, they are fluid. They're going to change based on various things. So keep that in mind. These are not hard and fast lines.
Yes, thank you, Amanda. And so we already have silent signals that we give to that are prescribed. We know about touching the top of our pocket, or covering our badge to signal a yellow card, or patting our back pocket to indicate that we want a red card. Assistant referees can get involved, but those signals don't necessarily tie the referee's hand. They are subtle signals where we can convey information, and the referee can still act at their discretion about what they want to do. And moving away from the corner flag, if there's a foul near the top of the penalty area, a couple of steps out, making eye contact, that gives indication to the referee, in my opinion, that foul occurred outside. Or if you move smartly towards the corner flag, you're telling the referee, hey, that's inside, give a penalty. Now the referee can still call it out if they want, if they choose, but you've conveyed that information to the referee. So, and we hope you don't, but these signals are there to help the referee make better decisions, but they don't tie the referee's hands. And so on the next slide, we are introducing another silent or subtle signal that will not tie the referee's hands, but it's an idea of giving information from the assistant referee in those areas on the field where you have low to moderate credibility. We do not expect a flag. We expect a skirt signal. So Matt, play the video just to show you the skirt signal. So the skirt signal is for penalty kicks only. So if there's a clear offense inside the penalty area, the referee is at distance, and it's in that yellow to red zone where you have low credibility or moderate credibility, and you want to give information to the referee, drape the flag across your waist. Hopefully the referee has sensed something. They feel it in their gut, like, oh man, there was a lot of contact there, and you have established eye contact through the game. They look over. You can now give them information that says, I have a clear penalty, and hopefully it happens. It's seamless. Challenge, foul. You're like, oh man. You look at the referee. You give the signal. The referee's like, oh man, what happened? They look over at you. They have that right away. They see that flag. Boom, they whistle penalty. And nobody is the wiser. And you, as the assistant referee, have really added credibility to the crew and preserved the referee's integrity. They now get the penalty correct, and nobody's the wiser. So this signal is really important. And there are going to be some. We haven't used the skirt signal in a long time. This used to be for fouls near the top of the penalty area when you were trying to tell the referee that was inside. This now you're saying this is a penalty, and there are going to be reintroducing this, and there's a little bit of a learning curve. And so we have to practice for clear offenses inside the penalty area when you would not raise your flag, but you want to give that information to the referee.
So a few things I want to highlight based on what Frank said and what I'm seeing in the Q&A as I'm watching this. So first of all, like Frank said, the skirt signal was used previously to indicate that you had an offense inside the penalty area. Like Frank mentioned, it was that inside-outside the penalty area decision. It was gotten rid of for that purpose. We're now bringing this back because again, as Frank said, I like the why. Why are we bringing it back? Because sometimes the referee, like Frank said, it's like you see something, you know your screen, just in your gut, you're like, I think I missed that. And it's that look up, it's that quick information of like, yeah, I got your back. It's a penalty kick. And it's that really quick, whatever, and nobody knows other than us. So the skirt signal, as it was used previously to say it was inside the penalty area, is not what this is. This is the skirt signal to indicate I have a clear penalty kick. And like Frank mentioned, it's going to have to be quick in terms of this communication. It does not mean that as soon as you see a penalty kick, you have the skirt signal and you continue like that until the referee sees you for, possibly 5 minutes. Don't do that. It's intended to be quick. It's going to be a couple of seconds. And unfortunately, if the referee doesn't make that eye contact, you're going to have to move on as the assistant referee. You tried to give the information wasn't received. Brian, you came off mute. What would you like to add?
Yeah, great. Thank you. So just to reiterate what you have both said, right? We don't want to tie the referee's hands, right? On those clear decisions, right? Because remember, in order to even use the skirt signal, you've gone through the 4 steps, correct? Right? It's clear. Referee, you've analyzed referee's position and angle of view, the AR's position and angle of view, and priorities. So you've gone through all that analysis, and now you say foul, and you're doing all that in a split second. So if we are to put the flag up, what happens? Immediately, the fans, the players, all their attention is drawn to everyone. So we have come up with the skirt signal as a much quieter way to empower the referee to make the decision, right? To assist and not insist versus putting the flag up. And the analogy I will draw very quickly is on the taking of a PK, penalty kick. Typically we don't want if the goalkeeper moves, we don't want the assistant referee to put the flag up for a penalty kick. What do? We in the pregame, we establish some silent signal so that the referee makes the final decision. So that's, I just want to reiterate that, but you both clearly said that, but I think it bared a little bit more explanation.
And just to add really quickly, there'll be more explanation in a few seconds about when to use it exactly. That'll be clear, which color, which area. But this is the U.S. refereeing way. Okay, this is being rolled out across the country. You may have heard something different, but guess what? You're hearing it from us now, from the department. So we had 500 coaches hear this. We had 100 national coaches. We had all our national referees. You are now getting an opportunity. You're still among the first a couple thousand people who are hearing this. So there might be some folks who haven't heard it yet. That's true. So you'll have to have some patience that you're ahead of the curve, and you're hearing straight from us, U.S. Soccer, the expectation for referee communication. So be prepared to make some adjustments. It'll take some time, but it shouldn't be too hard. But I'll let our esteemed colleagues continue.
Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, this is the absence of the communication. So if you don't have the communication kit, this is for just the standard. If you only have the flag and we're relying on silent or subtle signals. So when do we expect the assistant referee to get involved? In that green zone, they're going to have the best angle of view. This is most likely where they're going to get involved. And again, as Brian talked about, as we go through, if the offense is clear, 100% certain, and you have a good angle of view and proximity, we expect a flag in this area. If it's not an offense or if it's not clear to you, Again, you don't pass go, don't collect $200, don't move forward. You don't have to evaluate the referee's position, your position. If it's not clear, we don't expect you to get involved. So let's look at a few videos. And you're going to be asking yourself, is this the green zone? And would we expect assistant referees to get involved here? And again, how clear is the offense? Evaluate the referee's proximity, evaluate the assistant referee's proximity. Do they have an imminent offside decision? And then is it in that green zone? So let's ask ourselves, so let's release the poll. Is this in the green zone? So should the assistant referee get involved? No, yes by raising the flag, or yes by giving the skirt signal. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, 93% raise the flag. So again, just to reiterate, the skirt signal is only for penalty kicked. So this doesn't happen in the penalty area. Just ask yourself, do you expect the assistant referee to get this foul? Defender going towards his goal line, clear push in the back. Everybody expects the whistle to go. The assistant referee is 3 yards away. Everybody expects the assistant referee to get involved. These are the easy decisions that just lend credibility to the whole team. And this is where, this is teamwork. This is teamwork in action. And this is what we expect from our assistant referees. Excellent. So should the assistant referee get involved? Do we expect a flag? Do we expect the skirt signal? And you're still going through your progression. How clear is the offense? Evaluate the referee's proximity and angle of view. Evaluate the assistant referee's proximity and angle of view. Do they have something that could distract them, like an offside decision? And then is this in that zone where we expect them to get involved? Alicia, release the poll, please. Oh, we're getting close to 100%. We're getting close. Getting there. Excellent. Yes. This is in that zone where the assistant referee, everybody expects the assistant referee to get involved. It's right in that green zone. This is such an easy decision, and it just adds credibility to the whole team. It adds to your credibility as an assistant referee if you can get these obvious offenses. And remember, if you assist with the foul, you can also assist with the misconduct by giving those silent signals to the referee. Excellent. Thank you. Yep. Okay, so we're going through our progression, those 4 steps, and then we're asking ourselves, so is the offense clear? And then when we get all the way through that whole progression, do we expect assistant referee to get involved, raise the flag, skirt signal?
And Matt, while the poll's running, can you keep playing the clip through? Just so people can see some replays?
Unfortunately, you can't.
Oh, okay. Send Zoom and note areas to improve upon for Zoom.
Don't release the poll too quickly.
No, just for Zoom. Like Zoom could change this round.
Yes.
They take customer feedback, don't they?
Okay, so almost 80% had skirt flag, but we have to ask ourselves, as we go through this, is the offense clear on this situation? Because that's the critical part. So I would agree, this is in that zone. It's in that green-yellow zone where the referee is a little bit at distance. The assistant referee is a little bit, has better proximity. However, they don't have a very good angle. So we have to evaluate the decision from the assistant referee's position. And we're going to see two players. We're going to see some upper body contact where two players are holding position with their arm to try and battle for the ball. And we would not expect, there's a little bit of contact with the hip. So this offense is not clear. So we would not expect assistant referees to get involved. This is referee discretion 100% because the offense, there are a mix of considerations surrounding this decision. Who's holding whom? How much contact on the hip? Is that enough to put the attacker off? Do they go down easily once they feel the contact? So the offense is not clear, so we would not expect assistant referees to get involved here. Amanda, do you have anything to add on that? Or Brian?
One minor thing, just remember as we're jumping into this, what is true in general, and of course there's going to be probably an exception on the next clip I show, is usually upper body contact is a little bit more subjective. That's going to be less clear. Usually when we're talking lower body contact, tripping, slide tackles, that's going to be more clear. So as an assistant referee, when you're making these decisions, if it's upper body contact, it needs to be more obvious. It needs to be less debatable. So this one, like Frank said, there's a question of who grabs who first. There's a question of was the first contact enough, and the other guy pulled. Like it becomes a lot more questionable when we're talking about these upper body contact situations. Brian,
and I just also want to add, it's also the angle of view. The assistant referee is looking sideways, right, as the players are running. So there's a lot of contact, but who is holding who? You can't really tell, right? And so one of the questions is not just is the AR's closer or in a good position, but does the AR have a good angle of view? And there you would say no. So don't pass go. Thank you.
All right, so then moving on to the next. Now we're in the yellow zone. So these are, again, situations where the AR is a little bit further away, may not have as good of an angle. So again, as is always the case, if it is not a clear foul, there should be no flag. There should be no signal. If the AR has a clear view and they are 100% certain, that's where we're going to use this skirt signal, this yellow zone where it's far enough away, like Brian was saying. We don't want to tie the referee's hands because they are substantially closer. But again, we want to have that communication. The one exception is going to be when we have violent conduct or a match critical situation that's behind the referee's back. And the reason, again, the why, is because when we have this situation behind the referee's back where there's a match critical situation, there's a violent conduct, whatever, the players are going to react and we need to make it clear someone on the crew hasn't. So we need to make that part of it clear. That's why we want that. And it was, again, the referee has no idea what happened. It was behind his or her back. So, Matt, in the interest of time, can we go to the second clip? Can we skip the first one? Thank you. So the question then, as you're watching this, to think about is, first of all, is there a clear offense? Let's go through our progression. What's the referee's positioning and angle? What's the assistant referee's positioning and angle? What's the assistant referee's priorities? And then how should the assistant referee get involved if it is a clear offense? Okay, so we have a mix of no, of whether or not it's a clear offense, and then, but of those that had a clear offense, the majority are going with the skirt signal. So first of all, let's start off with this in terms of where on the field. This is very much that zone we don't want the referee's flag. This is a situation where we have that moderate, the assistant referee does not have as much credibility. Look where the referee is. Look where the assistant referee is. This is not a situation where we want to flag them. We're going to want that skirt signal in terms of if this is to occur. So now the question is, is this a clear offense? And the key to this is watch the ball. Which way does the ball go in this situation? The way the ball is going, it is continuing, and the way the attacker played it, it does not change direction. It does not adjust. The goalkeeper does not make a play on the ball. They do not get a touch on the ball. So this is a clear offense. It is a clear tripping by the goalkeeper. Again, if we assess the referee's positioning an angle in this situation, and yes, you can see it. Thank you, Matt, in the replay. Clearly touches the ball past. Does not get a hand on it. Yes, I understand she was swiping her hands, but the ball's trajectory does not change at all. She does not make contact with the ball. This is a clear tripping offense by the goalkeeper. If we look then at the referee's positioning, it looks like maybe when he cuts outside, his angle of view is blocked. He cannot see between these players. He's looking at the backs of number 6, who's kind of blocking this, and also the attacker as well, versus the assistant referee, who is looking between these players and can judge this contact. He can tell what's happening. This assistant referee better not tell the assessor that they were watching the offside line, at least if it's me, because my head's going to explode. There's no offside decision to make here. It's a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. You should be ready and prepared to assist with this foul decision. So in terms of our progression, this is a clear offense. We would want involvement, and we would want it to be the skirt signal to indicate the involvement. All right, and then the next clip, I'm going to give everyone a little bit of a hint on the next clip. Don't watch the ball. So specifically, if you look towards the top of the penalty area near the assistant referee, in the penalty area right over there, sort of near the top of the arc, sort of near the arc in the penalty area. It's not the top of the arc, it's in the penalty area, sorry. Okay. So now let's run the poll. One more time through, maybe. I said run the poll too soon.
You gave them cues to where to look. They should.
You gave them cues.
Yeah.
Warned them.
Oh, look at that. It's playing.
Zoom got my email. All right, good. So it seems to be the debate here is whether it was clear or not, which is good. The involvement, the majority are getting correct how to get involved, which is to raise the flag. This is behind the referee's back. It is a clear offense. If we look at what happens here, in terms of this situation, what happens? We have a clear off-the-ball attack. It's an off-the-ball foul by this attacker running into position. It is behind the referee's back. This is one where we are going to want the assistant referee to get involved, and we want them to raise the flag. This is a clear offense. The referee clearly doesn't see it because X-ray vision or eyes in the back of my head are failing me at this moment. And if you look, the assistant referee does follow this procedure. The assistant referee does raise the flag, as they should in this situation. It's off the ball. The referee does not see it, and we want the players to know someone on the crew saw it.
And this prevents retaliation, mass confrontation, potential violent conduct, because a player could take offense to this because it did not occur on the ball. It's just it's kind of a cheap shot by the dark player to just knock the defender off his feet. So this is really aids the credibility of the crew and prevents any further escalation of the incident.
All right. Next we're going into the red zone, right, Frank?
Red zone, yes. And these are rare circumstances where these things occur. The assistant referee has low to no credibility because they are so far from play. If you are 100% certain that it is a penalty, you can give the skirt signal. And it's incumbent on the referee to take a peek over if they sense something happens, because it's not going to be sort of in their view of when the offense is going to be on one side of the penalty area. Assistant referee's all the way on the other side of the penalty area. So referee has to look over there and observe the signal, sense something happens. And we would expect if there were violent conduct or match critical, unseen by the referee, that the assistant referee would put their flag up. And so we have one video, Matt. Let's play the one video. The first video, please. White is attacking. Again, you see the referee just leaving the frame of the picture now. So at distance, we have to decide how clear is the offense and what type of signal. This is clearly in the red zone. And so ask yourself, do we expect assistant referee involvement? And if we do, what kind of involvement? Flag or skirt? And these silent signals, excellent, yes, skirt signal. And these silent signals prevent the referee from having to come all the way over to have a conversation. If they sense something and they took a peek and the assistant referee was courageous enough to get involved and had a clear view, and in their estimation, this was 100% a penalty, they give that signal, the referee takes a quick peek, yes, I agree, calls the foul, calls the penalty. It takes a lot of courage to get involved from that type of distance, and it prevents this long, awkward conversation, but it can be done, and it can be done fairly quickly with the skirt signal.
Conversation. It's a very long conversation.
Long. Yeah, we want to try to prevent these long conversations. And that's what these silent signals are that we use. You know, you can give that information about misconduct. And you know, players do pick up on it, but really that communication, it's a must, and it really it preserves the referee's authority, and it preserves the crew's integrity. Excellent.
All right, fantastic. So now let's go into let's go into one of the first review clips. So I know we're getting tight on time, so let's dive into clip one. Everyone be ready, go through the progression. Alicia, I'm gonna run the last poll actually. Let's play it again. And remember who's attacking, who's defending. White's shooting. That's a signal they're attacking. I hope they're not shooting on their own team. All right, so let's run the poll. All right, fantastic. So the majority, 73%, said yes, raise flag. I know what I said about upper body contact being tending to be less clear. This is, and then like, of course, the next clip's going to contradict that, right? But think about what this is in terms of match control. We have an attacker bumping a defender right at the goal line, knocks the defender over. This is so simple to just call coming. So just call this coming out in terms of this. The referee's proximity, he's at the top of the penalty area. The assistant referee has a good view looking right between the players. Everyone in soccer expects this to be a free kick coming out. So again, put the flag up, call the foul. It should not be a skirt signal because it is not a penalty kick you're going to give. You're going to give a free kick coming out. So no skirt signal. It would be a flag up and have this foul coming out. Fantastic. All right, Frank, back to you.
Excellent. Should we go? Let's do this one quickly. So look right here, right near midfield, and ask yourself, again, do we expect assistant referee involvement here? Flag up, skirt signal.
no involvement, raise the flag, give the skirt. All right,
Okay.
83% say raise the flag.
Yes. So here, just because this occurs in the green zone and because you see the assistant referee on the screen putting the flag up, doesn't necessarily we want assistant referees always getting involved. And yes, I will agree, this is in the green zone, but this is one of those cases where the assistant referee is a little bit further down from the field. The referee has a good look at it. They can see between the players. It's an obvious trip, and everybody just expects the referee to give the whistle. And that support flag that we used to give is no longer necessary. If the referee blows the whistle, the assistant referee doesn't need to put the flag up instinctively. Just, the referee called it, move on, move down, stay with your second to last, and allow the game to restart. So here it is. It's in the green zone, but because of the referee's angle of view and proximity, they have this decision. No need to just put the flag up for support.
And let me just mention something. For the 10 people that mentioned skirt flag, remember. Amanda and Frank did a great job of saying we only using it in one location, inside the penalty area, when it's clear and it's in the yellow to red zone inside the penalty area. So don't even think about skirt signal outside the penalty area or inside the penalty area. In the green area, don't think about skirt signal. Sorry, I just want to.
But Brian, I'm going to add something to what she said. It's going to be a penalty kick. If it's inside the penalty area and it's a direct free kick coming out, don't skirt signal there. If it's a penalty kick,
It has to be. Skirt signal is only for penalties. Yeah.
only for penalty kicks. Good.
Let's
All
go
right.
to the last. Let's go to the last video.
Last video. All right. All right, so I'm going to need everyone to pay attention here, and we're going to be typing some stuff in the chat. So I know we don't have the audio on, but what is important to note in this clip is that the referee stops play. Matt, can you pause this? Can you go back a little bit? Players are down. He's stopping play for an injury. And if you watch the referee, he stopped play now. Play is stopped now. Okay, so keep that in mind. Matt, if we can go to the end. So we have a player down, head injury, fantastic protocol, because again, head injuries, stop play. Like, get the trainer out there, especially in our youth games. This is a professional game, but at all levels, get the trainer out there. So great protocol by the referee to stop play and get the trainer out. So now we're going to the restart. All right. So let's get some stuff in. Let's get some thoughts in the chat. What do people see any issues with this situation? So I'm watching the chat to see if anyone's flagging anything that can be potential issues with this situation and this goal. So I'm looking for. Please type in the Q&A, not the chat, Q&A. All right, we've got Luis has a goal kick. What do others think? It is a strange restart. Ball is supposed to be dropped, not thrown. That is a true statement. JJ dropped the ball to the goalkeeper due to the ball last being touched in the penalty area prior to the stoppage of play. From the laws of the game, the ball was last touched in the penalty area. The correct restart is a drop ball to the keeper. Great. I'm seeing other people typing this in as well. Is there any other issues? Oh, wait, I see one from Jade. No one else touched the ball. So we have two issues with this situation. Great. First of all, the ball should not have been dropped to the attacker. It should have been dropped to the goalkeeper in the penalty area. And even if we made this mistake, we should have the situation. Someone should notice because nobody else touched the ball. So this situation, is this an opinion or a misapplication of the law? Are these facts that are wrong in this situation? And in this situation, this is a misapplication of the law. This is a situation where the assistant, great, I'm loving it. Everyone's saying misapplication of the law. This is a situation where the assistant referee has to insist. Assistant referee, put the flag up, get the referee. I don't care if you're the trial assistant referee. Somebody on the crew has to stop the referee from restarting the game with a kickoff. That can't happen. That's not acceptable in this situation. So this is one of those situations where we are going to insist. I don't care where on the field this occurred. Like I said, if you're the trial AR and you're the one that's got it, put your flag up. Get the referee's attention, even though this is definitely the red zone for the trial AR. Get this correct. Don't allow misapplication of the law, because like Frank said, these are situations that are protestable, and we can have to have this game come back. We could have to come back to this game. So to wrap up, on the next slide, we talked about this, just a few reminders. The experience level is going to impact what information the assistant referees are going to provide. Assistant referees, again, all the stuff the referees experience may impact what you choose to do. Remember, assist, don't insist. And also, pregame is key to all of this. Pregame is so key to all of this. Make sure we have this all worked out. Like Carrie mentioned, this is new information. You may be the first person on your crew that's seen this. So educate your crew a little bit about this. Have this conversation before, especially if you're the referee. Tell them, we're going to see the skirt signal again. And explain to them when it's going to happen. And like Carrie said, it may be a little rocky at first. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but we're going to figure it out. I have full faith in everybody. So again, teamwork's essential. So thank you, everybody, for hopping on. Frank, anything to add?
No, I just thank you for helping out, Amanda. You and me, teamwork right now. That was great. Yes, I appreciate it. And Brian for jumping in every once in a while. Yes, I appreciate it.
All right.
I'll turn
Go
it
ahead,
Well,
Brian, wrap it up.
I'm going to jump in and summarize all of this. But first off, Amanda and Frank, amazing, right? We took a very complex, you guys did a phenomenal job of taking a very complex, new way of thinking about assistant referee involvement, and you simplified it. You brought it down to something everyone else can relate to. Right. And so I just want to mention a few things in summary for everyone. Number one, we're looking to, with the U.S. Soccer Way and this teamwork presentation, we're looking to have a unified approach, right, for everyone in the United States Soccer Federation referee family. All right. Not so when I go to the field as a referee or assistant referee, I know exactly what the requirement is going to be when we have the concepts and scenarios delivered in this presentation, right? So that unified approach from grassroots referees all the way to the top, our national referees, okay? There's going to be some variations when we have RefCom systems. At some time later this year, we will have a presentation on RefComs and what we do in RefComs, but this is our initial starting point. So that is number one. So our coaches are being told this. They're going to be held accountable for ensuring our referees do it. And we want you to help us when you go back out and do your games, train those other people that were not on today's call as well. That's number one. Number two thing I want to mention is let's talk about two things quickly. When do you get involved? Let's summarize that. And how do you get involved? So I'm going to summarize those two pieces. Okay. When do you get involved? Now, we're talking about inside the penalty area, right? All right. And a potential PK, right? So number one, when do we get involved? It's two factors there, right? It's the 4 steps, the 4 considerations that I ask myself. And what is part 2? Part 2 is the zone, the color of the zone, right? Will determine how I get involved. Okay, so when do I get involved? Go ask yourself the 4 questions. How do I get involved? Think about the 4 zones, right? Because depending upon what zone you're in, if you pass those 4 questions, you can use the skirt signal in the yellow zone, right? And the skirt signal in the red zone if it's clear. If the assistant referee has a great line of vision and good position. If the referee is out of position, doesn't have a good line of vision, and your priorities say offside is not number one. So number one, that's when you get involved in how the skirt signal. And when do we also use a flag? The only other time we use a flag in the yellow and red zone is what? Misapplication of the law, or violent conduct, or something that clearly happens behind the referee's back. So think about it that way. When do I get involved? Use the 4 questions. How do I get involved? That how is determined by what? The zone of the field. And the last piece, someone asked in here, at the youth level, there's a large disparity between referee and assistant referee experience levels. And that's why Amanda mentioned the kind of not solid lines when we looked at the 3 zones, right? Because those 3 zones may vary, because I have a brand new referee. This is their first game. I'm a very experienced assistant referee, and I'm feeling I want this referee to succeed. I need to provide a little bit additional assistance to this ref because they're new. So what might happen, that green zone may expand for this particular referee, versus I'm working with Ismail Elfaf or Tori Pinso, who just came back from the World Cup. Guess what? Maybe my zones are a little bit smaller now, right? Because of the experience level, their positioning, their ability to read the game, and those things. So put all those pieces to puzzle together when you walk onto the field, and you're going to decide how much assistance am I going to provide today and how big is my zone. So anyway, a fantastic job. I'm hoping that all of you were able to get something out of this today, because I certainly did, and I've seen this presented hundreds of times already. But I keep learning. And yes, it may take us a little time for this to become standard operating procedure for us, but the objective is that it will, in the next X amount of time, right? Especially when our coaches and everything start teaching this to the new referees. And finally, I will say that, remember, putting the flag up draws more attention to the officials than a skirt signal. All right. Just like I'm making this up. If I'm an assistant ref and I think someone deserves a yellow card, do we want the assistant referee to hold the yellow card up in the air? No. What do? We do this. Silent signal. All right. So it's the same type of concepts. How do we assist, but don't insist?